the month is over, which means it's time for a wrap up. Hi, hello, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Alex, and today is the March wrap up. And today is especially exciting for me because it is my 1-year YouTube anniversary. Part of the way I'm celebrating my 1-year anniversary is by doing a giveaway. I talked about this in the last week's post, in the maybes post. I'm doing a giveaway on YouTube. It's going to be open all through this week, and I'm going to choose a winner next week. Basically, all you have to do is follow me and drop a comment down below, and you're entered into the giveaway. And the reason this giveaway is special is because I'm going to pick the winner, and then the winner is going to tell me what they want, what book they want. So like typically when I do a giveaway, it's like, oh, this is the book, and if you win it, I'll send it to you. But I really want you to choose a book that you want. There are some limitations, like nothing over like $15, $20, no book sets, things like that. And I have to be able to get it on Amazon so that I can send it to you. Yeah, so that's the giveaway. That's the exciting announcement. I'm also really excited about this wrap up because I had a really good month. Like, my month was bananas. I had so much freelancing that I was doing this month. Like, I had to shut down for a little bit because I was so backed up on orders. There were a lot of like sleepless nights where I was just panicky about how much work I had to do. I mean, that part of it obviously was awful. Like, the panic sleeping is not great. Like, I highly do not recommend that. But everything else, I was just super, super busy, which was a great feeling. It was great to complete so many contracts. And then on top of that, like, the books that I read for like myself this month were really, really great. And so that was really exciting. So I always love sharing with you guys books that I actually really liked. So yeah, that's going to make this wrap up like super fun today. Make sure you hit all the buttons down below so you know when I'm posting. I post every week, and all we do on this channel is talk about books. So if you like listening to people talk about books, here I am every week doing just that for you. If you want to be entered in the giveaway, make sure you follow and drop a comment, and you'll be entered to win. And next week I will be picking a winner. So could be you, but only if you follow and drop a comment. Let's not waste any more time. Let's get into it. The first book I'm going to talk to you about today that I read in March is This Messed Up Magical Family by Cousin Ripley. First of all, this cover, you guys, like, come on. Okay? This is available on Amazon. I don't think there's a physical copy of it, though. I downloaded it to my Kindle. I don't know that it's available on KU. I feel like it probably is. But again, like, I got it on my Kindle, like, I paid for the digital copy. So it's a novella, so it's really short, and I had no trouble getting through it. Like, I read it in one sitting. That's how good it was. It's very like Shameless. Like, if you like the show Shameless, read this. It's like Harry Potter, Shameless, and also like giving Doctor Strange vibes, but like new Doctor Strange. Like, let's Scooby-Doo this shit. Doctor Strange. It was funny. There was this really nice mix of like tech and magic together. The family dynamics were hilarious. The representation was amazing. There were some really great moments in such a short amount of time. Like, the talent in this novella blew me away, honestly. And it's part of a series, and I'm pretty sure they've published all the rest of it. This was fairly new in March, but I think like Cousin Ripley ended up publishing most, if not all, in the series. I'm hooked. I'm into this. I really love it. It's a really quick read, and it was everything I didn't know I wanted. Obviously, I gave it 5 stars. The next book on my list is Kill You Twice by Chelsea Cain. Y'all, I did it. I'm so proud of myself. This is number 5, book number 5. In the Archie Sheridan, Gretchen Lowell serial killer thriller series. Y'all have heard me talk about this. Y'all have heard me talk about this series on this channel multiple times. And you know, if you've been here a minute, I have been putting off on this book, okay? Book 4 disappointed me, like broke my heart. I was so upset after reading that book because it just did not deliver like the first 3 books delivered for me. So I've been putting off book 5. because I was scared that Chelsea Cain tanked the series. Honestly, I was afraid that the next two books, 5 and 6, were gonna be like book 4, and I was terrified. But you know, I mustered up my courage and I was like, just do it. And if it's not up to par, then now you know. It was up to par. It was everything. It was everything. Like, I absolutely loved this book. We had all of our lovely characters. Like, when I tell you I love these characters, I mean that. And I love even the bad characters. Like, the way that Chelsea Cain has wrote Gretchen Lull, a female serial killer, in this series has captured my heart. I love it. I love the way that Chelsea Cain writes her characters. And I feel like sometimes you read these series and like after a while you get tired of the characters that you've come to know. Like, I'm never tired of these characters. Never. I actually get a ton of character movement in this book, which I absolutely loved. We get a ton of Gretchen in this book, which got my heart. Like, because in book 4, Gretchen was not in that book at all. She was just like a whisper on the page. Gretchen is in this book for real this time. We get lots of Archie and Gretchen interaction, which we typically have not gotten that much of in previous books. We get a lot of secondary character action in this book, which was just such a breath of fresh air. In the past, we only get a look at like maybe two secondary characters, which would be Susan the reporter and Henry, which is Archie's partner. I mean, we've seen enough of them on the page that I felt like I knew them really well, but they were on the page in a much bigger way in this book, and I loved it. The gore writing, the intricacy, the puzzle pieces all fitting together so perfectly, getting so much character movement on the page. I loved every minute of this book. Like, it had everything I wanted. She just delivered. So yes, I gave it 5 stars. At the end of the book, they set up a great premise for the next book, which is going to be the final in the series. I don't know. There's mixed reviews on the final book, so we will see. I don't know that I'm hoping to get to it this year. I'm hoping to close out this book, this series this year, but also like the idea of closing out this series is a little heartbreaking. So I don't know. I'll have to sit on it a minute. Because I was so busy this month, I actually did most of this in audiobook, and like I seriously like physically read like maybe 15 of the pages. Like, I really relied on the audiobook this month. I thought the narrator did a really good job. So if you like audiobooks, I think the narrator did great here. 5 stars, loved it. So happy I didn't give up. Okay, the next book I'm going to talk to you about is The Measure by Nikki Erlick. This was chosen for my book club. I listened to this exclusively on audiobook because I could not get it in any other format. My library, the holds were completely backed up on everything. Like, I couldn't get it on audiobook, I couldn't get it in digital, I couldn't get it in large print or regular print. All the copies of this book were gone. What I ended up doing was getting on Audible and getting like a free trial, and they give you like they gave me, I don't know how it works, they gave me 2 free credits, and I used one of the credits to listen to this book for my book club. So, premise: everybody on Earth woke up one morning with a wooden box on their porch for each person over the age of 21. What it said on the box: what lies inside is the measure of your life. Inside the box is a string. The whole internet like breaks over this. Like, where did the boxes come from? What does the string mean? Did you open your box? How long is your string? How long is your string? Okay, and we just see in real time the breakdown of what happens over these boxes, and in the years that follow, what becomes of the contents of the box and how it affects everybody's life. We're following 8 characters. It says 8 in the description. It felt like way more than that. This was definitely one of those books where it's like people's destinies or lives are intertwined in odd ways throughout the book. And you really have this sense of everybody coming together around this happening, but also the world completely tearing itself apart in the wake of these boxes coming, and how much everything changes and shifts. The dynamics between people, between the political parties, like, it was all over the place, but in the best way. A lot of people in the review section said, like, that they hated that this book was so political and this and that and the other. I really appreciated Nikki Erlick here, because I feel like there would have been a way to go about it where you wouldn't have ruffled any feathers, or you could have made it less political and this and that and the other. This book felt so real to me, though, because she went there with it. Because, of course, if this happened in regular life, everyday life, if this happened today, this is the response I would expect. Of course it would go political. Of course it would go this, that, and the other. Of course there would be this, and this happening. This felt so real to me, and I'm so glad that she didn't dial it back. That she didn't stay safe and, you know, blush over it. I'm glad she didn't. I'm glad that she, like, wholeheartedly dived right into it. It made it feel legitimate to me. I cried. This book had me so emotional, all over the place. Like, I felt so many flippin' things. I was angry, I was heartbroken, I was happy. There's just a lot of really great moments. I think that if you liked Matt Haig's The Midnight Library, you would probably like this. Because I loved The Midnight Library. I know that it's like kind of like a controversial book. I feel like you either really loved that book or you really didn't. But I think if you loved that book, you would really like this book. And I also think that if you didn't like Matt Haig's book because you felt like it was like a self-help book, like that's how it felt, this book does not feel like that. So I feel like this is kind of like something that both sides of that spectrum could enjoy. I ended up giving it 4 stars only because how many people were involved. The cast list for this thing was huge. And I'm telling you right now, if I did not have this on audiobook, and if the narrator had not been as good with it, like, the narrator did kind of like subtle changes in her voice acting, so I could tell who was speaking a lot of the time. Like, I could tell what perspective we were in. I think that if I had read this in book format, I might have struggled keeping everything straight because the cast was so big. In this way, the audiobook really helped me keep it straight. That's the only reason I knocked it down a little bit, was because I felt like the cast was so big, it kind of smothered the plot line a little bit. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. The last book I'm going to talk to you about, Just Like Home by Sarah Gailey. I was not expecting this book to come like this, okay? Like, it ticked so many boxes. It completely blew me away. I was not prepared for this book. I also listened to this on audiobook. I was able to get it from my library. Like I said, I was so busy that I didn't actually have time to physically sit down and read it. The narrator for this book nailed it. So, premise. Vera Crowder gets a call from her mother that she's estranged from. And her mom says, I need you to come home because I'm dying. They've not had a good relationship. Vera has not been back to her home since she left it when she was a teenager. And it says in the description that she didn't want to return to the house because that's where her serial killer father last lived. Upon returning home, she finds out like her mother is really dying, like really sick. She's going to leave this house to her. It's not in great shape. And that there's a artist living at the back of the property in a shed that sort of like inserted himself into her estranged mother's life. Twists, turns. I was not expecting this book to be so dark, okay? Like, I read Magic for Liars, which was my introduction to Sarah Gailey. And I would not call that a horror book. It was very YA magic. But, like, it did have a depth to it. This book was so flippin' dark. Horror. I would 100% categorize this as horror. It was terrifying. They did such a good job with it. I was completely blown away. The layers in this book were insane. Like, just when I thought I figured it out, no, just peel back another one. I was creeped out the whole book. I was just dying to know what was going on, and I was not disappointed. Like, the gore writing here, so good. The like thriller aspect of it, amazing. We were jumping back and forth between past and present, so we're getting the story of like the serial killer story of the dad from Vera's past, and then we're getting like the present house being like haunted. Wild. The whole thing, wild ride from start to end. Like, Sarah Gailey can write gore, which I don't know why I was surprised, because in Magic for Liars there was some gore writing, and I do mean some, very little. It was so good here. Like, if you can do sounds and smells and things like that, epic gore writing. Like, I absolutely loved it. Above and beyond what I was expecting. Wow. Like, just wow. 5 stars. Obviously, I was so into this book. And again, the narrator completely delivered for me. Okay, that's all I have for you guys today. Those were the books I read in March. It was such a good month, and like, February was such a good month. It's just been a really strong start to the year. Like, I'm really happy. If you want to be entered in the giveaway, make sure you follow and drop me a comment, and you'll be entered to win. Yeah, I'm really excited that I was able to do this for an entire year. Like, I remember thinking last year that I didn't know if I would be able to keep up with it and like stay interested in it and stay encouraged to do it, and I have. And yeah, it feels like a really nice accomplishment. Anyway, make sure you hit all the buttons down below so you know when I'm posting. I post every week, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!